Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Today, we're going to be talking about those 100 trillion bacteria that are inside of you that can change everything if you take care of them. I call them little miracles because they are. There are microorganisms everywhere, and you can't see them, but they are inhabiting you and everything else around you. You alone are 100 trillion cells of bacteria. And in order to know how much that is, or to get a point of reference, you could take quart canning jars, line them up to span 14,000 miles, and that's 1 trillion glass jars. That is roughly the distance from Kansas City in the middle of America to Beijing, China, and back. And if you do that 100 times, you have 100 trillion. It's hard to comprehend that we are just, honestly, I say this all the time, we're just sacks of bacteria walking around. And those bacteria outnumber the cells in your body 10 to 1. Yet most of what we hear about with bacteria is how to destroy them. Antibiotics are plentiful and often used without even realizing that they kill both the good and bad bacteria inside of us. And of course, there's times when that's necessary, but then they should be really used sparingly so that we don't destroy the beneficial bacteria that protects us so much. The more good bacteria you have, the less sickness and disease you'll experience. And it is designed this way to keep you healthy. That's one of the biggest things they do besides, well, they do a lot of stuff. They digest your food, they do all kinds of things. But they are really designed to work with your immune system to keep you healthy. And although antibiotics can get rid of the harmful bacteria, if we don't rebuild the good bacteria afterwards, we end up in a vicious cycle, taking antibiotics more often, getting sicker instead of stronger, and building up the good bacteria will protect you from illness and make the wellness the norm for you. Another thing that happens when you take a lot of antibiotics is that when you kill off the good and the bad bacteria, you leave a lot of space for things like candida yeast to grow and to spread out. And that's why a lot of people, have problems with yeast infections and candida things after they've taken antibiotics. The good bacteria keeps that yeast in its rightful place in the body, in the corner, and keeps things balanced. So that's another side effect of taking too many antibiotics. So if we are 100 trillion bacteria and 99.9% are harmless or good bacteria, don't you think you should be paying attention to the things that they do? Because it's a lot. And why not eat foods that make them grow strong and multiply and become stronger? And probiotic foods, they just make sense, guys, because they build up the good bacteria and make it strong and mighty, because the more you have, the stronger it gets. And then your 100 trillion bacteria can be a force to be reckoned with. This is a really interesting study that was called the Belly Button Biodiversity Project at North Carolina State University that found out about 14,000 different strains of bacteria living in the navels of 95 participants. Those 662 strains were previously unrecognized in this study. And there's a lot of different strains of bacteria living in you, on you, and all around you. And that's why I support eating a lot of diversity in the cultured foods that supply these different strains and work 1,000,000 times better than probiotic supplements. Supplements often get killed in the stomach acids, or they're not really living in the capsules in the store. They can open up parts of the body where they don't belong and cause problems. And cultured foods don't do any of that. They have a little halo around them that speaks to the parts of the body that are needed, those probiotics are needed in, and it just works so much better than supplements. Now, bacteria are intelligent. They have a complex system of chemical signals that both go within and among bacteria, helping them decide what to do and how to act. In April, an issue of the journal Trends in Microbiology, Klaus J. Halfenweg found that the bacteria system contains all of the important features that make neural networks function, leading to the idea that the bacteria have a minimum form of intelligence. For instance, some strains of bacteria commit suicide when infected by a virus, thereby protecting the bacterial neighbors from infection. Bacteria cooperate. They can group together to take on tasks that would be difficult or impossible for one to handle alone. So a single bacteria can contain dozens of special systems operating at the same time for different purposes. They have their own little intelligence system. So this is why we should be eating more probiotic foods, because it's going to make a big difference in our body. You and your bacteria are co-creators in this life. And guys, you should really be best friends because they're awesome. They do so much for you. We need bacteria to digest our food, to synthesize certain vitamins, to form a barricade against disease-causing bacteria. And that's just the beginning of understanding what they can do. They are now saying bacteria control our weight, our brain chemistry, and the list goes on and on. And when I started to consume cultured foods, I got better. Not just better, I went from really, really sick with diabetes, high blood pressure, chronic inflammation, to feeling like I was aging backwards. Everything started working better for me. My brain was clearer, my emotions were enhanced, I was nicer. I really was. I felt joy again, and my joint pain was gone. My seasonal allergies got better. That serotonin produced feelings of well-being and sadness and despair were gone. And that is why I love these cultured foods, because they brought me here. And that was 24 years ago. So you don't have to take my word for it. Just open your mind to the idea that there are trillions upon trillions of helpers inside you. And don't kill them, feed them. Feed them with probiotic foods and watch what happens. They'll change your digestion, they'll change your health, they'll change your life. And here's what I do all the time. I eat what I call the Trilogy: kefir, kombucha, and now I add kefir soda in there because I do that a lot. And cultured vegetables. Okay, I gotta add one more too. I eat a lot of yogurt now too. So each one of those things, the yogurts, the kefir, the kombucha, they all have unique strains of bacteria and yeast, and they all work together. But when you first get started, even if you just do kefir, kombucha, and cultured veggies, you're going to see a huge difference because they all have really strong species. The 3 foods of the Trilogy provide you with different bacteria and yeasts that enhance those trillions of bacteria to grow and multiply. This allows you, who is their host, the opportunity to heal disease, remove pathogens, enhance digestion, and make serotonin experience a multitude of opportunities that otherwise you wouldn't have had. So these 3 foods are very powerful, and I consume them without fail. So some of the things I've noticed that would help me, let me tell you about each one of them in a little bit more definition. So kefir, it's the biggest cultured food there is. It has 50 plus beneficial bacteria and yeast. It is super, super powerful. If you don't do anything else and just do kefir, you're going to see a huge difference. I recommend starting with small amounts so your body can adjust to the good microbes, because when you ingest them, they decide, okay, we've got the numbers now, we're going to go after the pathogens. So they kill off pathogens, they kill candida, and those things can give off toxins. So it's really important that you start slowly, and you can do it from regular milk, pasteurized milk, cows, goats, coconuts, almonds. I have 16 non-dairy recipes, but it makes it a nutrient-rich, easy digested food that takes 24 hours and takes less than 5 minutes to make. And I have a link in this article. When you go click on the article link, you can see more reasons I have kefir every day, and it talks about that. Now, kombucha, oh my, I really love this fermented tea. Kombucha helps my livers, my kidneys, my bowels remove toxins. It can help reduce water retention caused by stress or toxic buildup. I've seen it help countless people. That's why it's everywhere. You can buy it everywhere. But make sure you get the good ones that have the product. Some of them are getting pasteurized. So GT Synergy Kombucha is a really good one. It'll help you shed excess water weight, feel lighter, more energized. And I have an article that says 7 reasons it's actually more than that now. I think it's 10 reasons I have kombucha every day, because it's one of the more powerful drinks you can have. And then cultured veggies, we all know vegetables are good for you, but when fermented, they become extraordinary. I once went 2 weeks without them while traveling, and my body let me know it was not doing well. I really needed them on my vacation. I got some bloating, rashes, fatigue. I think there was some stuff over there that I wasn't used to. And just a spoonful of cultured veggies brought everything back into balance within an hour. I highly recommend you start with at least kefir. It's going to make such a difference for you. And it's where I started. And you can do easy kefir, you can do live grains. They both work. I started with a powdered form, which is made from kefir grains, and it works really, really well. It's flash frozen kefir grains, and you can make as much or as little as you want, and it works so well, and it's so easy. And I have lots of recipes, and you literally are just putting the kefir in a jar with milk and letting it sit in your cow for 24 hours, and it transforms the milk into something completely different than regular dairy. You're gonna love it. So check out the article, check out my site. I've got some new courses coming out, some new things for my Biotic Pro members, and I've got lots and lots of free stuff for everybody. And just check out the link with the article, and it'll take you everything we talked about today. But just have your kefir, guys. If you do nothing else, it'll make all the difference for you. Thanks for listening, guys, and we will talk to you next time.